Howdy Blackmen, I'm your host Peyton for the BSPN Football Show. I hope y'all are having a great week. And first off, I want to start by congratulating the Blaze on beating then Tennessee ranked number 25 Riverdale. This was a hard-fought, nail-biter of a game through rough weather conditions, multiple delays, and this was just amazing and fantastic and just so good to finally see the Blaze win the backyard brawl. So we'll be going over that game today, and then we will do a preview for the Nolensville game on Friday, which will be hosted at Nolensville High School.
So I want to play even harder for them. After they show passion, it makes us want to do it better too.
Absolutely. To start off, this was a crazy game, though Blackman was the only team that had a lead at any point during the game. Riverdale only ended up being tied with Blackman, never having the lead. But when they did end up tying it, Blackman answered back quickly. Like I said, this game was marked by weather delays before the game even started, and then a 2-hour delay at halftime. It was a sluggish game with turnovers and a defensive battle. This was the least amount of points Riverdale has scored against Blackman since Coach K has joined. The previous lowest was 24 last year. This back-and-forth battle started with Blackman taking the lead at 10-0 on top of a Jabari Kemp touchdown. But Riverdale roared back with 10 unanswered points before Jabari scored again, taking the lead at 17. And then the defense had a terrific goal line stand. 4 plays were run within the 10-yard line, and all 4 were stuffed. The last play on 4th down, Isaac Levy applied pressure as the quarterback threw, and then Jaden Lark and Jalen Dowell broke up the pass, sealing the game for Blackman. Fantastic game. What are our takeaways for this game? Well, number one, Blackman's defense is the best in the state, maybe even the nation. This D-line blew up every run attempt and applied pressure on all but 3 passes. And Riverdale is a pass-first team. This isn't a team that would just hand it off the ball. So only 3 passes without pressure applied is fantastic. And then Jaden Gowan had a sack, as well as Tremel Johnson. James Stewart, Isaac Levy, Gowan, TJ, and Jerrison all were in the backfield at one point, hitting the quarterback as he released the ball. Most of the time he ended up on the ground, or at the very least being very hurried with his throw. One of these, the pressure applied by James Stewart, resulted in an interception by AD. The linebackers were flying around per usual, and Lark and co. were making plays, stopping the ball in the air. Lark with 2 pass breakups and AD with that interception. Now, on the other side of the ball, the offense, going to be honest, still looked very stagnant. But this time, it was good enough to beat Riverdale. This running back core continues to impress us, and Javion had some pretty good moments. Jabari scored twice, and Mike had some really good runs that resulted in the ball being moved down the field. And Javion had some good scrambles as well as designed runs, and he made an impressive pass to Brylan, bringing the Blaze down to the 3-yard line before that first touchdown. And speaking of Brylan, we saw some good production in this game, big plays and consistency. So that was really good to see, saying that he'd had a seemingly quiet start to this season, saying that he is the top pass catcher for the Blaze and he's a 3-star recruit. The O-line had its moments. I actually saw some pancakes from these guys, especially I saw the very first play of the game, Nehemiah Blackwell had a pancake. But yet still allowing players through on pressures and missed blocks on the run game. So we're still looking for them to really step up and make an impact in these games. Another thing I saw was Javion had an issue of running out of the pocket when he had still had a good pocket and the O-line was holding. So just hoping to see him stay calm in that pocket and not look to run or throw on the run. Now, MVPs for this game. On defense, I will have 3 MVPs. Isaac Levy, Jaden Lark, and Jalen Dowell. They were the ones that were very key on that last play that allowed for them to stop Riverdale on their final drive. Obviously, it is an 11-team effort, but those 3 were applying very big pressure and very big presence on that last play. On the offensive side of the ball, we have Jabari Kemp. Fantastic job to this last game. 2 touchdowns, an overall really good performance from him. And then the overall MVP for this game, I did this last week, but man, the entire defense continues to impress. I mean, I'm talking every single one of the pieces on this defense looks really good in various different games. Now, let's move on from glazing the defense to the Blackman versus Nolensville game. Blackman is at Nolensville for week 4 and will be playing on Friday night. Blackman, because of this win versus Riverdale, jumped up 8 ranks to rank number 14 in the state and jumped up to 774th in the nation after the dominant performance over Riverdale. Nolensville is ranked 70th in the state and 2,623rd in the nation. Yikes. Anyways, they're coming off a 2-1 start to the season with a win over Overton last week. Their only loss being to Lebanon at the beginning of the season. This is a game Blackman cannot lose its focus on. Yes, you beat Riverdale and you got Oakland on the horizon, but that doesn't mean you can just, ignore the next games before you play Oakland. And just because you won Riverdale doesn't mean every team's going to be a cakewalk. Nolensville has a decent run game and sported by their starting running back and a very good quarterback who has some surprising speed, looking a lot like me back in my playing days, and is a lefty. The offense can be dangerous, and this defense shouldn't sleep on them. Now, their defense isn't terrible, but nothing really stood out from their defense. They shut out Overton, but who's ever heard of Overton? And they allowed 27 points to Lebanon. So it'll be interesting to see how well this Blaze offense does. Now, Blackman's keys to victory over Nolensville. Controlling the O-line and getting this run game going. Blackman has always done well when their run game has done well. So the O-line being able to control that line of scrimmage and then the running backs really starting to take over games is what will help this team. Now, for Blackman, on defense, stopping the passing game. This looks to be, in my personal opinion, from watching the film of these quarterbacks, the best quarterback Blackman has played. I mean, he looks good. I've been impressed with watching some of his film, some really good throws on the run, so just being able to stop this passing game from him will be important, and then obviously not allowing big run gains was an issue in that Clarksville game when they allowed that big run to start off the game, so being careful with that. The X factors for this game, the players we want to see perform at a super high level are Jabari and Micah on offense. When they get going in that run game, it is hard to stop this Blaze team because they can just continue to chug down the field, getting 5-6 yards every time, death by paper cuts. And then X factors on defense is Jaden Gowan and Jaden Lark. Definitely when they perform at a high level, obviously this D-line overall plays really well, but when you see really impressive, this team really being impressive is when Lark is locking down on the edge as well as Gowan making plays in the middle. Obviously though, it is an 11-person sport for each side of the ball, so you need to make sure every single player is firing. But that is it for me. Thank you guys so much for watching this. This should be a great game. The theme is USA, so show out for this game and go support the Blaze. My name is Peyton Huff, host of this BSPN Football Show. Have a great rest of y'all's day, and go Blaze!